This is Professor Daddy-O from Stetsasonic, and you're listening to Day One Radio.
Welcome back to another episode of Day One Radio. Last week, we had Professor Daddy-O in the studio from Stetsasonic, and the interview went long, so we broke it up into two parts to make sure y'all got all this game where you can sit down and really let it sink in. So we finished off last week with Daddy-O speaking on rappers and just fans having opinions on this new music, but not really having an informed opinion. So we're going to kick right back in to where we left off last week. Make sure you follow us on Day One Radio on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and also check out the website day1radio.com and subscribe and rate on iTunes. Without further ado, Professor Daddy-O.
You know what I'm saying? Yo. Ain't no way in the world we supposed to be getting caught up in the world of sound bites.
It's crazy that
it's not even part of the way we grew up. So how do we get caught up in sound bites? Well, we try to fuck the young girl, so that's why we getting caught up in. That's the dumbest shit in the world. She gonna fuck you anyway.
It's crazy that you say that. Like you familiar with Irk the Jerk?
Yeah.
So me and Irk and a few of the other homies was sitting out having a drink in downtown Oakland a couple days ago.
Right.
And me and Irk is in his mid-30s or whatever, so we chopping it up, and we're like, yeah, I like some of Future shit. I'm not a huge fan.
Right.
And it was some dudes that were younger than us, some older than us, and they looked at us like we were absolutely crazy. Wow. And I'm like, fam, you can't tell me that March Madness ain't jamming.
Right.
You can't tell me that fucking the X song with 21 Savage ain't jamming.
No,
like,
but
he got some shit.
They don't go that far though.
And you have to though.
I mean, if you say that this is what you do, you have to. Now, if you if you claiming something else, then that's it. You know what I'm saying? But if you say that's what you do, I think that's your duty, because I mean, people should just, you should know. You should be informed enough. I put it this way. I always say it this way. You should be informed enough to argue. That's it.
As an adult, you should not speak on anything that you have no knowledge base.
You should be informed enough to argue. That's all. I mean, if you're informed enough to argue, then that's cool. Because what happens is you still probably end up learning something new. Yeah. I got checked on Black Lives Matter hard. I'm glad it was my man. But my man does a little YouTube show. And we were talking. He loved hearing me talk. He's one of my biggest supporters. And he asked me a couple of questions, dope, gave him some great answers, and he said, about Black Lives Matters, he says, have you ever been to the front page of their website? And I said, no. And he said, did you know that there was a transgender man on the front of their website? And I was like, no. You know what I'm saying? It's the epitome of unstudied. You see what I'm saying? Because, I'm not one of those guys that support the co-opt and the struggles. I'm not one of those guys that put civil rights in one category.
Right.
I'm not the safety pin guy at all. And I got to tell you, man, I'm as fucking red state as they get. And I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And I study Farrakhan. Like, I'm an asshole, man. I'm a real asshole for what they worth. Like, but that's what it's like I always wanted to be an old asshole. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because I used to admire them motherfuckers. It's like every time you come around and shit, you can't even argue with this nigga. Even if he don't know, he come back the next day like, wait, young buck, you know what? Give me a day. He come back the next day with like 5 books and three ladies and 2 little kids, to prove his point. Like, this mother. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that we don't have that much of an excuse. And then when it comes down to this thing, they get mad at me when I say we didn't lay the blueprint. People say, oh, I think y'all did. I said, no, we didn't. Because we're too busy making it to help somebody else out. So in that case, 3000 is lucky he caught it. Because ain't a Melly Mel, a Grandmaster Caz, a Daddy-O, a Chuck D ever reached out to 3000. I talked to CeeLo about this shit. They had to figure that shit out themselves. She was saying, man, they used to call me Little New York. I used to go to New York, and Teddy Riley and them used to do my jackets and shit all the time. And so I used to come back down with the rhinestone jackets and all of that shit. But they had to figure it out themselves. And boy, did they figure some shit out. You tell me, you niggas always talk about the symphony and all that, right? Mm-hmm. Watch for the Hook is the best crew record ever. Mm-hmm. Nigga, by far. Nigga, by far. Come, tell me whatever crew you can tell me. Buddy, by the fucking them guys. The fuck out of here. That Watch for the Hook is so sick. It's scary how good it is because Cool Breeze still the best one on the record.
Yeah.
That's scary, man. That's a scary fucking record, man. Them niggas really went. I'm talking about on some. If I was an R&B singer and I heard that, I would be scared to death that my whole life is getting ready to disappear. Because they was running around. See, that's in our time when we used to the beat and you don't stop, and they saying it ain't music. Imagine if that was the first thing they heard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but these guys figured that out themselves. Yes, there was rap in place. Yeah, people was rapping, but ain't nobody show them nothing. Ain't nobody show Bun shit. Ain't nobody show Richie shit, Andre Nicotina shit. Ain't nobody. The LA guys are the only guys that were taught. They won't tell you that, but Ice-T spent all that time with Mel and them. LA guys got taught. Them Hollywood motherfuckers, boy. You see how they proved themselves? Because that's all they ever wanted was that fucking Hollywood.
Yeah.
Them niggas never, Cube, none of them niggas never wanted to really be rappers. They wanted that shit. They used to, because see, I used to spend time in LA. You on the 5 and the 10, you stuck. You think our traffic is crazy.
Oh, yeah. LA
and at any time you look over, you see De Niro, Schwarzenegger, because we all ride the same highway. Unless niggas going to take helicopters from the valley into they office or to the studios, but you in line and you see Sharon Stone in her car. You know what I'm saying? That's all them niggas grew up seeing. It was going to happen. It was going to happen. So, you know what I'm saying? That's different. But the rest of the country, they learned it all on their own, bro.
For sure.
They figured it out on their own.
So let's take it back, man. 91, you guys dropped Blood, Sweat, No Tears, and then you guys broke up.
We didn't really break up.
You stopped making music.
Yeah, we stopped making music.
To the fans, it's the same shit. If you didn't know.
You're right. No, I just learned that this year. Yeah. I swear to you, I just learned that this year.
Yeah. Anytime a group stop making music, the assumption is they broke up. Like
yeah,
that's how
y'all motherfuckers can watch football every Sunday with wings and beer. If you ain't putting out nothing, we think y'all broke up.
That's how folks looking at Cass. Like, man, them niggas don't get along no more, man. Goddamn, them kids ain't playing together, bro. They ain't making music. So they assume all that. You know.
So you guys stopped making music. You released a solo album a little bit later, and then you stopped making music for a long ass time. Like, and we know you did the executive thing and all that, but what happened?
Dude, I don't know. Like, yo, when I started making it, so 2015 is when I put out the Everybody But KRS, right? And I'm like, because I was always rapping. Anytime rap, like, reaches any sort of, like, pinnacle, right? And that could be an underground pinnacle, a sideways pinnacle, or a big pop pinnacle, whatever. I always throw myself into that bucket. Maybe the rhyme style, maybe the music thing, maybe all of that. Not to do it, but to see if I can do it. See what I'm saying? Because I'm like, oh, they doing this. Let me see what that. You know. So I always rhymed. But the desire, need, want, I could probably find a bunch of other adjectives to quote unquote put something out. It just really wasn't there. And I just don't know why. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know why.
Right. And especially because you were at some of this time, you were working at labels. So you could have easily just put something out.
Yeah. Now, what I would do is like work with a little rapper and show him how to do it and go in the booth and do something and say, this is what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? But I never would do it.
Shit, like people do that from the player to the coach.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's a natural progression.
I couldn't. I don't know why. Because once I started, put it this way. I don't know why, but I guess today, sitting here with you, I could kind of say I'm glad I did. Because I was able to absorb. And by the time, I don't care what nobody say. I'm so much better now. Like you listen to my new shit, that shit ain't nothing nice, B. Like I'm on some other shit right now. And I don't know. I don't know if I could have maneuvered that then. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if I could have did it. I just don't know if I could have did it. You know what I'm saying? And it's people who made music all that time I wasn't making music, or people who've been rhyming, put it that way, because it's not all made music, because a lot of it is battle rap, right? It's people who were rhyming during the time I wasn't rhyming, and then that helped me like really shape up.
Okay.
It really, really helped me shape up and start saying, okay, like I could trim the fat now. You know what I'm saying? And it was the progression of rap music that allowed me to know I could trim the fat.
Like that said, man, I mean, Tribe just had the #1 album in the country.
Right.
Granted, it was a unique set of circumstances. Very unique set of circumstances.
I think so too.
But with these grown with these grown ass men, you know what I'm saying? These grown ass men, folks that will say that they old, wrinkled, gray haired, all that. They had the #1 record in the country, and there is excitement over it. Do you see, a time where, the quote unquote grown man rap can be something that folks willingly accept? Because it seems like for a while, hip hop had to like get over itself. It was like, oh man, I can't listen to this shit with my kids in the car. I'm too old for that shit. Oh man, then you start hearing cats saying, I'm getting up there, bro. I shouldn't be rapping after this age. You know what I'm saying? But then when you look at, your Jay-Z's, even your Ross's, like these ain't teenagers rapping. You know what I'm saying? They pretty grown too.
Well, you can't mention Jay-Z and Ross. They cheat all the time. Just like Beyonce cheats. I say this, man. I got this statement I've been playing with that says, adults listen to hip hop, but there's no such thing as adult hip hop, right? And kind of sort of since I said it, I've heard like some really good material from De La and some really good material from Tribe, right? I'll leave it there. Personally, I think that the De La Soul album is much more of adult hip hop. I agree with you 1,000% about the unique set of circumstances with the Tribe thing.
Right.
In terms of, I don't know if you kind of sort of acting like, can some of that come back? I think that there can be a place for it, but I don't think that, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, I don't know if mainstream radio is the place for it, because mainstream radio is doing some other things, and it just might not fit.
Well, not even just that. Like, say if you decide to drop an album tomorrow, and you're like, I'm going to support this album with a small tour. Do you see something like at least like that being feasible? I ain't saying like, oh man,
that's what we doing now. I mean, that's what I'm doing now. That's what a few people are doing now. So I think that's dope. I think the only difference between me and them is I'm doing so much more music than them.
That's
like
what
I'm
I
not
was
doing.
say.
I'm not like doing one album. Like I already got 3, and what I'm saying, by next year, the end of next year, it'll probably be like 7. It would have ended up being like 8, but I did take a little break this quarter. But I'm slated, and records are written, and some dope stuff coming, and all of that. My thing is, I don't think that we have an option beyond the concept of the rapid fire, because of the way everything moves. And so my suggestion to people is to, I'm not saying don't make it quality. That's not what I'm saying. But my suggestion to people is try to make as much as you can, because I think that it's just the way the psyche works right now. Even the adult psyche, which is sad, but it's true. So if I can do a bunch of stuff, one thing will catch. Like, I got a record that been in rotation at the Beat in L.A. for like 4 months. Crazy, right? And it's off the first record, right? And they really haven't touched the other 2 records at all. But what happens is when somebody discovers one song, because of the tentacles, if you want to call it, the pipes and tentacles of the Amazons and the Spotifys and the iTunes of the world, they find everything else. And then it becomes more collection-ish, and that's the way we listen now. We listen more like a collection now than we ever did. Back in my day, I'm a little kid, I'm looking at the Isley Brothers album cover, The Heat Is On, hoping that the smoke moves and like listen and let me say it again like 3 and 4 times and trying to get the riffs. That's not the way they do it now. They listen to it in collection because never before in any other time period in life could you walk around with as many songs as you can now.
Got a record
You got to
store
understand, we didn't have the concept of portable in the past period. That little thing that Biz walks around with is a really good example of what we meant for portable. It was a little 45 fucking record player. Right, this is and radios and transistor radios, like that's what portable is, right? So now we're in a different world. We're in a totally different world. We're walking around with we could really walk around with 1 billion songs, depending. I don't know how many songs is on Spotify, but like as many songs as on Spotify is as many I'm walking around with.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's a different reality right now, which makes the concept of the collection, to me, even more powerful.
One thing that, and you can speak on this because you talk to these guys, and these guys are your peers. Why is it that with the exception of maybe 10 rappers, and I think that's generous, cats that are been around since the late 80s, early 90s, don't make new music
I
no
think
more?
they're afraid. Okay, so I don't really have that answer, but I got a little bit more to that answer than why I stopped rapping.
Okay.
So, and these are things I think about all the time. So I appreciate the questions because these are the things that plague me. So I think part of it is that they're afraid. I think part of it is that there's possibly a legacy in place that they don't want to taint.
Oh yeah.
The other thing I think that they haven't learned something that I call the nephew principle, which is everybody got a nephew that makes some dope ass beats. And that's the way I think, that's the route. Because honestly, dog, my records wouldn't sound the way they sound if it wasn't for some of these young people. And of course, when people ask me who produced it, they think I did it myself.
Right.
Because it sounds like that. It sounds like me, but that's just me grabbing a beat from one of the young people that I know I could do. I done threw away 17, but I done found them too that sound like they me. But yeah, man, I mean, everybody could find the applicable groove. So I think part of it is fear. And then this is the ugly part. I think part of it is laziness.
Oh yeah.
Because dude, to do it, like I'm writing a joint. I was just now writing a joint on the train. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with it, but you got to be in that mode. You got to be in that mode. And I done found some, some space in where I could be. So I figured out the personality. I figured out who I really am. I know that, and I, it's real easy for me to describe. In the hood, there was always 2 old men. There was one old man that everybody, made fun of. They kick him, they throw shit at. And then there was old men that you never fuck with. And if he said, pull your pants up, you pulled them up. That's me. And I rap from that perspective. I don't rap from the perspective of even rapping for young kids because it's like I'm talking to my peers when I'm rhyming. You know what I'm saying? But if I do talk to a little dude, I talk to him the way I feel like talking to him. And I don't talk to him like, the one thing I don't like those back in the day records. I used to records and shit like that. I don't like that. But I do some cultural records that might explain exactly who we are.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So if I start talking about police is getting hit from cinder blocks on the rooftop, that is my youth. We used to stand on the tenement building and throw cinder blocks down. And I say that because I look at you little niggas and I say, you really are not doing anything?
Right.
Fuck them killing you. You ain't fighting back. Nigga, the 75th would have been out of business. You hear me? You kill one of us, you niggas are at work. You don't understand what I'm saying. You're at work. That's like you working at McDonald's or a school.
Yeah.
You're there every day.
You know where you are at all times.
Are you kidding me? Your cars are in the parking lot. Are you kidding me? We had agreements with them. You know how you have sometimes agreements with your friend where you say, all I find, all I keep? We had them kind of agreements with them. Because you not coming, but dude, we can't let you in but so much. yeah, if we doing something blatantly wrong, this nigga rape a little girl or something, man, go in there and get that nigga. We ain't even got to snitch because the lady gonna tell. That ain't even our style. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't protecting shit. But if it come down to somebody eating or something like that, we might stash a nigga where y'all can't find him or whatever, because we got to do that for him. And I might talk to one of y'all and say, man, I know you know where he at. Yeah, nigga, and you think we going to tell y'all? Like, y'all need to back off. Because if y'all don't back off, he got cousins from Baltimore that's going to... You know what I'm saying? And niggas is like, I got to go home to my wife. Like, I don't want to get into a gunfight with these East New York niggas. It's not going to be nice. So, you know what I'm saying? So when I talk about it, I might talk about it. I might say, Korean chicken wings pretending that they Chinese. I never sold dope, but we took keys. I could say that. That's what we did. And that's all that's in the hood is a bunch of Koreans with Chinese restaurants. You know what I'm saying? I could say that, but I say that because I'm the old guy. The young boys don't say that. Wayne and them have a different way. You know what I'm saying? Migos and them have a different way, and that shit clever too, but it's their life. You know what I'm saying? But shit, you think I'm a threat? Let them Migos niggas get old and keep rapping. Them niggas, that should be incredible. You know what I'm saying? That's all you got to do is like, I just hope that they don't get caught up into the same shit that I got caught up into where I just, I don't give a fuck if I was executive, whatever, like you said. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not doing like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm happy to be alive to be able to do some of it now. But I still don't know why I stopped. And who knows what could have came out of those years.
Right. You moved to Atlanta and was working heavily in the tech space and popping, and then the tech shit kind of slowed down and you went into a rut. And I was reading a blog that you did earlier this year about Michael Concepcion from LA. Kind of pulling to the side like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
Right.
And I thought that was super honest for you to put that out there. And I think it was dope because I personally sent that to 2 or 3 people. Okay. And can you just speak on kind of how that conversation helped you get to where you are now?
Well, what happens is that art, right? So artists, right? And this pretty much is across the board, right? Yeah. We magic, right? So we always think, and it's kind of no. It is kind of no. It just depends on the time. But we always think that, nothing's going to dry up because of what we do doesn't come from like the way people make like train tracks or the way farmers are or whatever. Like this is a creative thing, right? Like every time I get a royalty check, I'm like really happy because I'm like, damn, I wrote this song and I'm actually getting paid for it, right? So that's the way artists are. And we really never think that things are going to dry up. And very often, if things do dry up on the financial side for us, we get, like, we don't know what to do. And we can get in such a spoiled position that we really don't know what to do. Meaning, let's just say you go from one level of artist to the next, regardless to whether you're executive or not. Now you got assistants and this type of person, kind of, people doing things for you and stuff like that. You kind of get used to it. So you don't know how to make the phone calls. You don't know how to make the connections. You've been the principal talent all of this time. It's like being an actor. I always tell people, I said, when I describe my bounce back issue, which I'm still bouncing, my bounce back it's like actors. I said actors are the best way to describe it because I'll see an actor and he'll be popping for some years, like say a Malcolm Jamal Warner, right? He'll be popping for some years, and then it seems like that show that he was on or whatever, it kind of dies out. But then, like maybe 11, 12 years later, maybe 8, 9 years later, you start seeing the person pop up, and then the next thing you know, not only are they on a series, but then, you see them in a couple of movies, and you kind of know that they back on. You know what I'm saying? And it's a different regimen than it was before, but they've gotten smarter. They figured out how to regulate it. They're not going to play the superstar game. They're going to save some money. They're going to try to do some quality roles. They're going to do a couple of things just for the critical acclaim and all the things that they weren't doing in the beginning, because in the beginning they were just doing it because they're an artist and they think they're good or they are good. You know what I'm saying? But they're doing it as an artist. So I think it's that. And I think I'm fucked up, not knowing where the next Don gonna come from. I see Mike in Atlanta, and I jump out the car like, yo, what's up? And he's like, yo, Daniel. You know what I'm saying? We start talking. You know, me and Mike have a very interesting relationship. One time, Mike Conception told me, he said, Daddy-o, I might respect you more than I respect a lot of people, because when you had me in your basement in Brooklyn, you could have killed me, because he was down 3 floors. And he said, it wasn't nobody in that building but me and Big Bill. All your niggas was there. You know what I'm saying? He said, and if you had something against me, you could have got me, because I don't go that deep without, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And, I always respect, he told me, always respect that. He always told me, even this time he told me, he think I'm in the wrong, even in Atlanta, he told me he think I'm in the wrong place. He told me, man, you come to L.A., you could get this money, Daddy-o. I just don't understand why you be kissing. He said, man, his philosophy for me is always, I think what you do is dope, but I think wherever you end up, Daddy, or you end up with a lot of people that do the same thing you do. And that's what happens with you. That's what he thinks. But anyway, he just kind of cracked down on me. I mean, in the middle of, like, just being my friend and, like, getting in the Bentley Azure to go pick up the Rolls Royce to come back and just parade around Lenox Mall, right? But, like, but just, like, kind of, because I was fucking with Mike before, like, the rich shit came in. I was fucking with Mike when he first started building the crib. And he told me what he was going to do. He told me how to do it. He told me what to invest in and all that. I didn't do any of that. And he says, man, I did it, man. The nigga got a house with a damn near moat around it. You know what I'm saying? And he always had nice cars, but his cars now are very nice. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and he's just like, I told you, Daddy-o, and he's still, investments, doing what he's doing. Now he's on some Operation Give Back. He's been, hitting the community up a little bit, here and there, but he just, what I'm saying, every few years, if you from where I'm from, I think everybody need it, but I can't speak for people that's from places that I'm not from. But if you from where I'm from, every few years you need that hood check. You know what I'm saying? Because you could just lose yourself in whatever, either the atmosphere that you're in, either your family. You could lose yourself in that, and you won't know, like, you made for something just like everybody else is made for something. Like the little kid that grew up middle class and ends up kind of pinpointed for Harvard and really does go to Harvard and really does get the doctorate and, had the little Harvard shirt on as a baby, a little onesie or whatever, that kid's pinned for a different thing. Us, the way we grew up, we pinned for a different thing. And sometimes you need that. And Mike is that for me. And Ronnie Newt has been that for me in the past. Wow. And Pee Wee Kirkland is that for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my kind of lean on. I tell people all the time, really, the real me only fucks with pastors and gangsters because they both got something on the line to prove. Everybody in the middle is like, they could fucking front all day. But you do the wrong shit, you end up Eddie Long. Right? You do the wrong shit, you end up, one of the Gambinos on the fucking ground. So I fucks with that because they got that much to hang on to. All the rest of it, like, even in entertainment, man, it's just like, I was with my man yesterday, my man Glenn Tovey, and we were talking about a couple of people, and he would mention somebody, and like, what is that? And I'm like, that's him. You know what I'm saying? It's him. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing you could do. He's like, Russell, like, what is that? Like, that's Russell. Like, I've been around Russell since the beginning. Like, that's what he is. That's what it's going to be. Like, you just can't take away from these guys what they are. Q-Tip and them the same way. Like, they all the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool, but it ain't us. Like, that ain't who we are. It's nothing against them. It's just put it this way, we was different people in the lunchroom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Them, they was at the weirdo table.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Us, we was them. You know what I'm saying? Like it was something different with us. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and it's hitting for whatever it's hitting for. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like I say about black leaders. I say if you're a black leader and you ain't telling black men to crease their pants, fuck you. I don't care who you are. I'm sick of black men looking the way they look. I don't come up from that. Nigga, we had tailor-made pants at 14. Mock necks, British walkers, all that. The fuck out of here with that bum shit you got on. Fuck told you to wear all them bangles and beads on your fucking arm. Fuck out of here with that. Cut your hair, nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's us. But that's us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That might not be somebody else, but that's us.
Right.
And we gonna always be like that. Because we come from that. Conception, New Kirkland. That's where we come from. So we gonna always be like that because we realize, you niggas talk about the enemy, the white man, all of this type of stuff. We had a different way of affecting that. We had a different way of interacting with that. And they had to respect our gangster. They had to back up off us because of that. Say, look, man, we feeding these ladies in the neighborhood. We making sure that they kids got something for Christmas. Leave us the fuck alone. Leave us alone, man. Let us take care of these people, man. You know what I'm saying? And they had to. That's not their acumen. Their acumen is different. Their acumen is get rich, mama still in the project shit. That ain't our life, man. We don't live like that. Mama come with us wherever we go. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Wherever we go. If a nigga was pimping, probably every hoe knew mama. And she called her mama. Mama, get Shirley some money because where is it? Oh, you know, it's in the cabinet underneath. You know what I'm saying? Like, she coming with us wherever we go.
I mean, it goes back to what your son was telling you. Like, it ain't just in rap. In the street, there are no rules anymore.
Yo, man, it's everybody. He said everything goes. He said everything goes. And I looked at it, I said, you know, he's probably right. It's just, it gets weird like that, where everything goes. And all I'm talking about is lanes, because everybody's going to be different. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard when the lines get blurred and those lanes happen like that. You know what I'm saying? And then people just don't, anything could go. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where it just gets weird, because and then struggles get co-opted, and then it just gets really ugly. Like the safety pin shit is the worst shit in the world. Like, it's the absolute worst shit in the world, right? And so me being from the hard right, of course I'm gonna go at these fucking assholes, but I'm just saying even somebody that's mid-left should be looking at them like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, how do you co-opt struggles like that? You cannot co-opt struggles like that. And you gotta let people do what they do to come out of their own struggle. You cannot interrupt that plan. Some people say universe, some people might say God's plan, some people might say science plan. But you can't interrupt that plan. It's that story, right? About the little boy that looked at a little egg and he seen the bird, you know, pecking, and he seen the little beak coming through. And he said, oh, I'm going to go help him. And he opens up the fucking thing. You know what happens to the bird. Right. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. And it's sad to do that. Like, it's sad to do it because you're not letting people come through their struggle the way they need to come through their struggle. And let them come on the other side the way that, however the other side looks, win or lose, let them win or lose. Everybody doesn't win. You know what's happened? It's funny because my wife and I go through this with school children, especially in the public school system anywhere in America. They introduced and instituted some years ago just the idea of social promotion. Yeah,
push them through.
Right? So the kids are going through. So we look at kids and we see these kids say, oh, he's in the 2nd grade now. Oh, he's in the 3rd grade now. And we like, how the fuck is he in the 3rd grade? You know what I'm saying? Because they just push them through. And so that's what ends up happening is like they make everybody this equal kind of struggling And it's just not true. You know, everybody's struggle is a different thing, and they gotta get strong, like that bird and that damn, you know,
coming out the
egg. You know, them wings gotta strengthen, and when they strong enough, it goes boom and it pops the shell. But if the wings ain't, you'll just see it rocking in there. You know, so I just think it's horrendous what ends up happening. That's how we kind of end up where we end up. Like you said, it's not only in music. We end up here anyway because nobody wants to say, you know, this is the lane we take, and they want to say, yeah, this is the lane we take. But you know, I'll take a little bit of your lane too.
Yeah, that's super
crazy.
bogus. So we know what you working on. You coming out with music, man. What are you working on in the tech space right now?
So we've been building on this platform called I Heard Right for about 5 years. We finally got the engine together, so we just finishing up the front end. My partner and I, Bill Mann, we about 5-6 years ago, I met him. It's funny because a lot of times when my white friends introduce me to it and they say a black guy does technology, I usually always laugh because it usually means he does electronics, not technology. So I'm laughing. You know, my man Frank Bayer introduced me to him. I want you to meet Bill Mann. He does technology. I'm laughing. But then I went and had lunch with him, and he showed me this platform that he had created. At that time, he was calling it One Man Entertainment. And I just looked at him and said, does this thing work? And he said, yeah, it does. And I said, it's not really my whole life, but I've been trying to build this my whole life. Like, if you already got something that worked, whatever. So we talked about how I might be involved or whatever, kind of left it alone. And then a few years later, he actually came back to me and says, Daddy-o, I think I brought this thing as far as I could bring it on the technology side, kind of sort of the support side, but I definitely need you to come in and, like, let's just make this happen. So we've been really, really banging out on that, and I still can't really announce a launch yet, but we do have a couple of things in place. So I think we may not really do a soft launch, but we may do, like, because we got a whole bunch of things in this, so we may just kind of bleed off a couple of pieces. Mm-hmm. But the focus is this: we looked at the whole space, of course. It's entertainment, but of course, you know, music is my heart, so I'm looking at music first. And we looked at the music space for two. We looked at high and low, right? Bass and treble, nothing in the middle. New artists, brand new, walking through the door. I don't care if you're 68 or you're 16, right? And we looked at legacy artists because we have a bunch of friends like Sonny and Marie and Sheila E. and all of these people. And we looked at new artists and legacy artists and kind of sort of what the platform is for them, and none of them have anything. Like, you know, besides for 0.1% of new artists, SoundCloud's a joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's just, and nobody knows what to do. Like, everybody's saying, hey, put your stuff up on iTunes. Oh, work with this and try to get it in Spotify. But nobody really has any answers. And then there are no steps. Like, there's no, even a semi-course, even a light course on what to do next is not there. And it's not there for new artists, and it's not there for legacy artists. Because legacy artists are playing in New Orleans, the Milwaukee, the New York, the New Jersey Jazz Fest, and then going in the back and setting up a table and selling CDs. There's nothing there that works, and, you know, we are talking about the tech space. There's nothing there in the tech space that works for them, right? That's either easy enough to use or something easy enough for their team member to do or something to aggregate. Just, it's a bunch of little elements that we saw that are just missing for new artists and legacy artists. And so that's our main focus. Of course, I'm going to be concentrating a lot on music, but that can relate to independent film. It can relate to a few other things because, you know, some of that is the same too. But some of that is changing. So, but with the music space, I mean, it's just that. And then kind of sort of like through those same tech pipes, you know, what are the marketing efforts look like? Because really there are none right now. You know what I'm saying? So weirdest thing in the world. Speaking of my son, I said this to my son the other day. I said, man, the weirdest thing in the world to me is how every young and old, but it's mostly the young guys, but young and old musician now is looking at like TV as their next wave. And it's TV in a bunch of different forms. It may be the rap game for Jermaine Dupri. It might be money, power, respect for Lord Jamar. I don't know why when he's so great in movies, but whatever, right? But everybody's making this transition like television is what it is, you know, and it's just interesting because, you know, my question is always going to be like, so what happens to the music? You know what I'm saying? Do we really really get the music? You know, and if you look at the best of our bunch that's done it, they kind of, besides for Latifah, they've kind of made the statement that they both can't be done. You know, Latifah, and even with Latifah did something different.
And
so she just
Cube for a short time.
Latifah did something different when she started doing all the American classics and singing, just totally singing, not rapping. So that's a little different. But as far as like Will, LL, Ice-T, they like, I mean, they might do a tour hit here or there, but they like, this is what it is, and they really good at it. You know what I'm saying? And that's usually kind of sort of the way it works. Like, you're not going to really be able to, like, knock down both like that. Some people, but I don't know how rare you could be. Tupac probably was the last to be able to really do that. But again, you can't measure nobody by Pac. He's one of, you know, it's that special thing I was talking about. So like, how do you do that? Like, it's him, and then it's everybody else. It's all of us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
again, the special guy.
Exactly. Like, what do you do with that? Like, you just leave it alone and say, yo, he's great, and I'm not. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but Pac was probably the last that, and probably would have done it. Like, probably would have been as good musically as he is on the screen. But that's a rarity, but it's kind of interesting the way. And then reality TV has created this whole kind of bucket for them to play in. You know what I'm saying? You look at Papoose and Remy, and you look at a couple of other things. They playing in that bucket, but, you know, the music does get tainted. Because they gonna try to make, like, there's no way to make your music match a reality television show. It just doesn't work. It's two totally different things. So it really can't work. And so it's gonna be very difficult for them, you know what I'm saying? Especially some of them now, because a lot of them that's showing up on these shows now are not even like, they're not even suburban people. So like, shit, if Macklemore showed up on a fucking TV show, he probably could sell all that damn music.
Yeah.
But, like, you can't be like Cameron and show up on a TV show. It's not going to work like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, part of people going to say you sold out. The other people, you know what I'm saying? And then once you become that, the interest, the television interest, you kind of lose being the music interest.
Well, what's the name? Did it okay for that short minute?
Who?
T.I. when he had, you know, the Family Hustle. He was still putting out albums, you know what I'm saying?
But he's become the TV
it's
guy.
It's two different people.
Like,
though.
yeah, and they don't. I mean, the music is suffering.
Yeah, I don't.
We Rough Man is out of our lives. Huh?
Yeah.
He's probably the best to do it,
yeah.
but he's a much better actor than he is a rapper. I mean, my computer's full of all the Childish Gambino shit. Like, I fuck with him hard, but I'm a weirdo too on that side, so that's different. But again, he's so special, right? So you almost can't with him. Yeah, like, you knew he was special, but then after that Atlanta show, you're like, okay, I get it now. Because that shit is not Devornier, that's not Spike, that's not Tyler Perry. That's him. That's him, and that girl is on some bullshit. That Insecure shit, they
oh man,
I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. Please don't ruin it.
They really stirring up the pot because I don't know what you do after, because this stuff is good. No, it's really good, right? Yeah, you like, what?
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to see Insecure yet, but Atlanta, dude, first and foremost, the fact that he's this young and navigated his way to essentially being a showrunner and having money behind it and doing numbers, and every writer on the show is black.
Yo, the dude is dope.
It's
like Atlanta was dope. I don't know which one is doper, that or Insecure. I probably because it's hard. But one is girls and one is guys, so that's cool.
We ain't got to put them against each other.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to put them against each other. I'm just trying to tell you, like, that is not. That's not even Homegirl. Homegirl dope that did How to Get Away with Murder. Yeah, that's not even her. Like, this is something else, man.
Yeah.
And you like, and plus they both got that music shit with them, so that makes it like ill, because the music on her show be ill, and then he on some other. So you like,
Yeah, matter of fact, I saw something about that floating around today. Like, folks were comparing, like, not necessarily the shows, but just the soundtracks. Like, who had the better soundtracks between Atlanta and Insecure? They had like a Spotify list of both. You know what I'm saying?
They right. Like it went. I mean, and I'm talking about, these are both shows that I wasn't like. It ain't on me like when it's getting ready to come out. Oh, I'm ready to watch it. Whatever. That's not how it happened with me. It was stuff that I end up watching, and like just like okay, like I was as hooked as I would be for like one of them BBC shows that I like Luther or something like it was like that, and I was like, damn. They really did that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it don't, like, to me, the other thing that I look at, like, with Atlanta and Insecure, it don't make a fool of black people. Like, it's the real shit is hard. Like, the Insecure shit is real hard, because she got...
I have not seen it.
No, I'm not going to say it. I'm just saying, she got deep on that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But then he did, too. Yeah. That episode, when the boy got shot, and he was talking about getting the shit out of the jacket?
Yeah.
I said, yo. That was...
It's real. It's nuanced. I think that's what a lot of black television is missing, is nuance. And the show has nuance. Like, it's not over the top. It ain't hitting you in the head.
It's what I was saying to him earlier before you came in, and that was what I call a hero factor. Right? I said a lot of people, because people always ask about music nowadays, and I said, man, one of the biggest problems is that these guys don't have any heroes. You know, great ball players always had heroes or whatever. I guarantee you talk to that girl Issa, or you talk to Donald Glover, I bet you they got some dope heroes. And they may not even be people who you expect. They might pull out a damn Bob Newhart on your ass. You know what I'm saying? But they got heroes. And that's... I think that's what we need, right? You know, people start talking about what we need. We need those people that are going to respect the elders, that are going to respect the people that came before them, that are going to, and then say, I'm cracking that shit, you know, wide open. To me, that's, you know, I don't really like a whole bunch of them other comedians. I like Chappelle, and the reason I like Chappelle is because I always looked at him like he looked at it and says, look, I know you seen Pryor. I know you seen Murphy. I'm about to crack that shit open. I'm going somewhere else with this. Just ride with me for a half a second. You know? I'm going to do all that shit Paul Mooney wanted to do and couldn't do, because there was an edge that he just didn't have. And again, it seemed like that music keep playing part, right? Because with Chappelle, it was his relationship to like Mos and all the rest of them dudes that kind of made it feel like that.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Authenticity.
So I just think, you know, that's what we need. We need that kind of stuff. I mean, we're not gonna. I mean, it's nothing new under the sun. We're just not gonna be able to get that. I love when people try it, but sometimes it's wasted energy. Yeah. You know, to really believe that you're starting with nothing. It's wasted energy, because it's way too much shit that's been done on the planet already for you to start talking about you starting with nothing.
It's a real time.
You know?
Last thing, I was looking at your LinkedIn, and it says you're doing some stuff with the Smithsonian.
Yeah, so that's Chuck. So Chuck plugs me all the time, like, and so Chuck D, before the opening of the African American Museum that the Smithsonian has in D.C., was working with a girl there on some other stuff, and told a girl that there's no way that you guys can do African American history without doing hip hop.
Of course,
hip hop is American history. You know, I mean, you can call it African American history too, but it's American history. Right. And so he put together a band of us to do an album that is, it was so hard, and trust me, a lot of people's not going to agree with it. It is the Smithsonian kind of official hip hop record. We chose 100 songs. We started with, you can imagine, thousands. Now they're down to 100 songs, and that's going to be the official piece that's going to be sold in the Smithsonian. So I kind of helped to curate that, me and a few other people. So some stuff got in, some stuff didn't. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. And then we all wrote like liner notes. So I wrote like liner notes for 5 songs, and you know.
Wow.
And it's interesting because, you know, I wrote liner notes for shit that I ain't had nothing to do with, but, you know, I just did the liner notes because I remember, you know, times that had happened and, you know, stuff that went on during that time and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, so that was the...
So you're saying 100 songs, 100 hip-hop songs are going to be showcased in the Smithsonian?
It's going to be a CD sold.
CD sold, okay.
And it's like the official hip-hop...
I need that.
Whatever you want to call it. But you'll enjoy it.
The capsule.
Yeah. You'll enjoy it. And then the liner notes are to die for, because it's like me, Monica Lynch, Bill Adler, some dope. And, you know, people coming from experiences. You know, like people writing from kind of sort of a place of being there.
Right.
And so that was just, you know, that was just interesting to just be around, you know, just to be able to do that and kind of see what made the cut, what didn't make the cut, how people feel about certain things. And then, you know, us just kind of
Can you tell us what didn't make the cut? I don't know if you're at liberty to tell us what did, but can you tell us either?
And
order?
When is it coming out?
Well, I'll tell you what. I thought that Stet would end up with 2.
Okay.
Stet ended up with 1.
Okay.
Guess what that 1 is?
Talking all that jazz?
More important than that.
AFRICA? Yeah.
The most important record ended up making the cut, and not the one. I thought Talking All That Jazz would make it 2 also, right? But it ended up being AFRICA.
I mean, apartheid Mandela, you gotta.
So you know what I'm saying? So it was those kind of decisions that people was making.
What was the record that you really fought for that didn't make it, other than your own?
I think Talking All Jazz was the only one because Top Billin' made it in.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was good with that.
Dope, man. We
Paz made
appreciate
it in.
you.
I didn't produce. You know, I produced the first Paz K record. I didn't produce I Got a Man, but I did the liner notes on it.
Okay.
Nice.
So
that's big, man.
Yeah.
First Priority got 2 of them in there. Huh?
Yeah, it might be 3 because I think there's a Light song in there too.
Yeah, gotta have an MC Light song in there.
And when is this joint coming?
I mean, they said when they opened it would be available, but the girl hasn't. Her name is Timothy. I forget her last name, but it's a girl named Timothy that worked for the Smithsonian. She hasn't told Burnside. A girl named Timothy Burnside. Yeah, wow. She hasn't told me that the record's available yet. So
that is a must-have.
Yeah.
Just for the liner notes alone.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's gonna be crazy. Like, I think, and again, man. So that's kind of sort of where I think some of what we do should go, right? Like, we need to be part of these institutions and those kind of things, and then there needs to be forums and maybe even possibly tours. I mean, I'm not so into the whole performing for everybody all the time.
No,
you know what I'm saying? But you know, those kind of things. It just seems like, for us, quote unquote, classic artists, hip hop is a part of the conversation because it's a part of American history, right? That's not the deal for like Future or somebody. Right now, they just got to be the entertainers that they are, right? They gotta rap, they gotta make the records, they gotta do the tours. Nowadays, endorsement deals are big, so they got to do that. They got to, you know what I'm saying? But that's kind of sort of their job. Later on, when they become older, then it's different. But that's sort of their job. For us, I think it's more of kind of teaching mode, kind of assimilating into the culture, kind of showing where we, what we did. I'm looking at stuff like, so I got a 7-year-old daughter, and she's into this, I didn't even know about the group until I heard this Christmas song that they did from her playing it. This group, Pentatonics. You know this group? Mm-hmm. So there's a couple of groups, Pentatonics being one. There's another one, I can't remember their name. But they vocal groups. But the main part of what they do is the beatbox. Mm. But they do like these fantastic covers of songs that are just like bananas. Like, so the one she listens to is this little drummer boy joint. It's crazy. But there's always somebody underneath there doing beatbox and all of that. And I'm saying it's not doo-wop. This is beatbox that they're doing under there. That's something, that came out,
Straight Buffy, Dougie Fresh,
exactly.
Biz
So I'm saying those are the kind of conversations that need to be had with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like those type of things. And then I'm very interested, as much as I like film, if we could call it that, because we all cutting on little cards. But, as much as I like film, I like to see some of the activity that happens not around television. Mm. So I don't really care if it's YouTube, Vimeo, whatever the hell it is, and whatever the next 5 are going to be. You know what I'm saying? But that's just not around television, because I feel cheapened when it looks like, here's what I'm saying. Give me 15 more Atlantas, right?
Right.
Give me 15 more Insecures, but I don't want to see another Real Housewives or Love and Hip Hop for a day of my life. Mm. So that's what I mean. Mm. Like, we got people in the space that's young that can make this shit. Why don't we just let them make it and jump off? Mm. Now, if Donald Glover sees fit to say, hey, I think T.I. and Daddy-O could do this, from his eye, we need to jump in there and do it, because he knows what he's looking at. But being manipulated by the powers that be to just do what's there because it's there, that's a whole nother thing. I just think that we need to have start trying to have different conversations, man. Mm. We just not having other conversations. We having the same conversation around survival and taking care of my family, and we're not all millennials, so we can't always think like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it gets a little weird. A lot of times people don't realize, back in the day, if we want to call it that, people ate and fed their families based on the collective and not on the individual, right? Because if LL wouldn't have took me on tour, I wouldn't have had that money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or somebody else or something, somebody else saying, hey, hook up with this, do this. Russell, I always say Russell, Cassandra Mills, Leo Cohen, Bill Adler, a couple of other people. Gary Harris probably number one. People who made my life, because they will always say, Daddy-O, Daddy-O, you need to know him and make sure the connection happened all the time. You know what I'm saying? So we were eating kind of based on the collective, based on kind of what everybody was doing. And because they bubbled over here, it allowed us to be able to bubble over here. Run gets a shoe deal, so that means somebody else could go down the line and get a troop deal or whatever. Right. You know what I mean? It was that kind of thing. It really wasn't selfish like that. And that's just because of the conversations that was being had. People always talk about the versatility, but a lot of that came out of the conversations. Mm. Arguing with Eric and Parrish on a fucking bus. You know what I'm saying? And out of that argument, EPMD ends up doing some fly shit. Stead ends up doing some fly. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just think those conversations need to be had.
Man, this was a dope conversation, man.
Thank you, sir.
I really appreciate you coming through. I knew it was gonna be dope.
Yeah, man. It's so funny, man. It's like I'm getting ready to leave. My wife is like, "You gotta go this late," and I'm like, "Yo." You don't understand. Like, this is like the 9th time that I'm telling them I'm coming. I've never told anybody 9 times that I'm coming. And I'm just like, yo, like, I finally, got in a position. It was a crazy day. I can't even lie. It still was a crazy day. But I finally got in a position. And then I'm like, yo, because I did know it was this building in the back of my head, but it was like the front of my head didn't know. And I'm like, yo, because, I'm still very city. I'm considering not to be, but I'm still very city. Yeah. So I'm just like, if it's smarter, like I'm right there next to the whole time, besides when I first got here, the whole time I've been here, I've been like, so I'm like, So, I mean, I left the crib 6:40.
Right.
I still got here by 7:30. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I couldn't have did that in a car.
Nah, not at all.
So, you know what I'm saying? So that part and all of that, and she was like, oh, I thought you said you was tired. And I was just like, in the back of my head, I'm like, she don't know how energized I'm going to be by, getting, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you just, my son's around sometimes, but for most of the time, I'm the only male energy in the house because it's really only 3 of us. Right. It's me, her, and the little one because the rest of my kids grown. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I just got to get out too. So, I mean, it helped me in a lot more ways than brother. Just put it that way.
Appreciate it, man. Please tell them where they can follow you and what websites and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I would just say, so the ProfessorDaddio.com should be up within a day or two. The guy's just having a little trouble transferring it. But I'm Professor Daddio, one word, all over the internet. All the music's on Bandcamp for now. I like that platform a lot. So all the music is on Bandcamp. I did the 3 albums are up there, and then I did a special little record called Bullets that's about police brutality. The videos, if you follow Professor Daddio on YouTube, I guess the videos are up there. And they also usually up on my Vimeo channel. And then, just like I said, I'm holding on the Powder Burn video for a minute because I got some ideas for that. But it's a lot of music out there. I did about 8 videos this year. So, old man snapping, that's all.
New music coming in December?
So we're working on an album I kind of teased earlier this year. It's called Oh Dad, the Gun and the Children. The Oh Dad, the Gun and the Children is a record I made in 92. Mm-hmm. And I did the record with Chuck D, even though there's a video. We did that record in 92. Wow. And then there's other records on that album that we haven't released. So we talking about putting together like kind of like a new release to that, probably doing some vinyl. I don't know if you noticed, but cassette is amongst a certain kind of crowd. Cassette's coming back. Yeah. So we may do a cassette as well. Yeah. And then we're going to go ahead and go with the No Tablecloths album next year. And that one's going to be real interesting.
Super dope. Professor Daddio, man. Day One Radio on ablradio.com. We appreciate y'all listening. Make sure you follow us on the #1 radio on all social media, and also follow us at Hip Hop Trivia ATL. And we will see you next week with another dope show.